high-value woman is code for a woman who behaves correctly enough to be chosen. Be confident but never intimidating. It's a performance, a role, decoration. You're not actually becoming powerful. You're becoming palatable. If a relationship fails, you weren't in your feminine. If he ghosted you, you didn't lean back. And if you're tired of being single, it's your wounding that prevents you from becoming whole. You become a project, always working on yourself to be more worthy, while never questioning if the expectations themselves are even real, fair, or loving. That's not growth. That's just a spiritual treadmill. Yes, self-reflection works. Personal development does work. Practices, embodiment, therapy, rituals, mentorships, they can change your life, and they have changed mine. But here's the difference. Healing is not a hustle. Empowerment is not a product of fear. It shouldn't be. And you don't need to be broken again to begin healing. We don't need more marketing built on shame and guilt. We don't need more coaches profiting from the pain that they never help you process. The high-value woman trend blames women for everything. If he doesn't commit, you weren't feminine enough. If you're not abundant, you're not surrendered enough. If you're single, it's your masculine wounding. It's your masculine energy and you're not in your feminine. This isn't empowerment. It's gaslighting, and it keeps women in the same trap, working on themselves to be more worthy, more enough, while ignoring the very system that make them feel broken in the first place, that takes away their power. Sometimes it's not your shadow. It's structural oppression. It's not always divine timing. Sometimes it's a power imbalance. And it's not your fault. It's a system's design. And it's a design you came to change. Sadly, the high-value trend becomes a control mechanism by patriarchy sold to women by other women. Most of the content isn't about healing, it's about monetizing insecurity. Create the wound, sell the solution. Create the fear, sell the fix. All in the name of self-love and attracting abundance. Meanwhile, women keep buying courses, hiring coaches, overhauling themselves, but never feeling enough, while their counterpart is not asked to do the same work on themselves. This is internalized patriarchy, where women become the enforcers of the very system that silences and disempowers them. You're not in your feminine energy enough. No, maybe I'm just in my power, and that makes you uncomfortable. True feminine power isn't meant to be comfortable. It's meant to be transformational. Spiritually speaking, we're supposed to ascend from 3D realms into 5D realms, transition from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, greeting the new earth, awakening to the new freedom. But somehow we ended up back in the age of Pisces 2.0. We were promised a new earth, a collective awakening, freedom, sacred union, and instead we got ego mask as intuition. We got spiritual branding over spiritual truth. We got greed wearing goddess robes and trying to awaken the feminine that never was dormant in the first place. The goddess archetypes weren't easy to be around. Kali burned illusions. Lilith walked out on Eden. Inanna descended into the underworld. They did the impossible. They weren't chosen. They were feared, worshipped, and remembered, and they knew exactly who they were and what they stood for. Let's look at some history here. If we look at the Bible, we see the story of Lilith, the first wife of Adam before he met Eve. In this story, she was Adam's first wife, created as his equal, not from his rib. And when he demanded dominance, she refused. She refused to submit and left Eden, for which she was demonized, cast out, rewritten as dangerous and not obedient. Why? Because she chose herself over obedience. She walked away from a man and refused to beg to be let back in a place where she wasn't treasured. That's not high value. That's revolutionary. That's transformative. Another story is the story of goddess Kali, the Hindu goddess of destruction and rebirth. She was depicted with wild hair, blood, and a necklace of skulls. She was intense, fierce, and raw. She doesn't smile pretty or try to be appealing or gentle or loving. She was the opposite of the nurturing archetype of the goddess. Kali exists as a necessary alter ego which comes to destroy what no longer serves. And for this, she is worshipped. Not because she was pleasant, but because she's real and powerful. Would Kali be called a high-value woman today? Only if she toned it down, smiled more, and stopped making people feel uncomfortable. Only if she was more mysterious and knew how to behave. That is the essence of what the high-value woman trend is trying to perpetuate to women. But this defeats the whole purpose. The wild feminine is strong, is powerful, is a force to be reckoned with. She doesn't need to smile, to be appealing, to be a people pleaser, to know how to act around other people, because she has that intuitive calling within herself. The real feminine isn't here to please. She's here to wait, to shake, to birth, to bleed, to burn, to destroy, to cry real tears, to rebuild, to speak, to seduce, to protect, to unveil the truth. Whether through rage, laughter, scream, with love, and without permission. The Aquarian age is about innovation, liberation, truth, not repackaged Pisces era fear wrapped in rose quartz and Instagram filters. It erases the real feminine, the wild, raw, sacred feminine, the feminine that is not passive, that is primal, that dances barefoot with wolves and sings spells to the moon. The real feminine is messy, loud, intuitive, erotic, unapologetic. It's not about becoming more likable. It's about becoming more whole. It's about returning to your power. You don't need to become high value. You already are. You don't need another checklist. What you need is remembrance. Remember who you are. Remember why you're here. Remember that you are not to be chosen. You are the one who chooses. There was a time when women were gatekeepers of truth. We were priestesses, midwives, oracles, healers, seers. We held direct access to source. We read the stars. We spoke with the earth. We carried codes in our bloodline. Until one day, they called it heresy. They burned it out of us with fire, iron, and fear. The Inquisition wasn't just a historical tragedy. It was a spiritual systemic oppression. They strip us of our roles. They turn our wisdom into witchcraft and our intuition into hysteria, our embodiment into sin. And what will they do next? They took the knowledge that was ours all along and sold it back to us through the lenses of patriarchy, through the illusions of earning your worth instead of stepping into your worth, through the promise that if we just play the game right, if we're soft enough, pretty enough, surrendered enough, docile enough, we'll finally be let in. If we play by the code, we will be accepted into the boys' club. We will be rewarded for our obedience and appropriateness. But you never had to earn your worth. You were born with the blueprint. You are the altar and the flame. You are the source, not the seeker. And this system that teaches us to fix ourselves before we are lovable, this system that packages insecurity as self-improvement, that is not spirituality. That is inversion. That is a low vibrational matrix that feeds on fear and calls it feminine. But we are waking up. We're done being sold our power through false prophets and filtered affirmations. We don't need another high-value checklist. We need a collective remembering, and we need change. So yes, grow, heal, embody your truth, but don't do it to belong to a club that never was built for your wholeness. Instead, it was built to control and manipulate you. Do it for the world we're rebuilding. Do it for the priestesses in your lineage who never got to rise. And do it for the version of you who knows she was born for more. Let's stop selling from the wound and let's start leading from the vision. Because the age of illusion is ending and the age of remembrance is here.